Well, 2 days ago, we saw some news out of Canada that should send a shiver down each and every one of our spines. It certainly does mine because it harks back to the worst and darkest days of the battleground Melbourne era. We saw a completely, in my opinion, wrongful arrest, an abusive arrest, abusing not only the person being arrested, but also abusing the system. It was none other than David Menzies, a Canadian Rebel News reporter, and Australia's Rebel News reporter, Avi Yemini, joins me now to talk about it. Avi, were you surprised to see this happen?
No, firstly, thanks for having me, mate. But no, I'm not surprised that, as you just mentioned in the intro there, even in Australia here, through the COVID era, we saw a lot of that happening. COVID was the excuse that they gave to be able to abuse their power, whereas in Canada, it's been extended to everything and everyone. But I'm glad it was captured on camera. Menzies is the number two best, the second best reporter of Rebel News. Uh, but
After
no,
yourself, of
he really
course.
doesn't. I wasn't talking about me. I said Ezra's number
Oh,
one.
okay. All right. All right. Yeah.
I'm like really low down on it.
Uh-huh.
No, but he really does some great work, and he has been targeted over the years. And you can see he's just walking up, doing what mainstream media should be doing, and
Yeah.
that's scrumming
Yeah.
people in power. And who's more powerful? There's only one person more powerful than the deputy prime minister, and he did it really respectfully.
Yeah.
He's a great, gentle guy, Dave, and you could see that the officer literally
Oh,
walked into him
it's a
and
trap.
then abused his power by saying, "Well, you've assaulted me now, and you're arrested for assault." When really, it's we want to arrest you for asking the wrong questions.
Avi, we've got the video here, so there would be some viewers who aren't aware of what we're talking about. Let's play the first. I'll play the first minute or so. I got to tell you, this boils my blood, and I can't even watch the entire thing. Look at the smile on her face. She knows. I can't even keep watching. There's that little smile on her face. She knows exactly what that police
Um,
officer has just done. And what boils my blood is not only just the flagrant abuse, but it looks as though they would expect to get away with this. They'd expect to not lose their job. They'd expect maybe to not even lose the court case. What does this say about the state of Canada under Trudeau, that this is just being done in broad daylight?
and I'm surprised, and I think they're just as surprised that they didn't get away with it. Because they have gotten away with that kind of behavior for so long now. But luckily, the camera caught enough. The cameraman was able to catch enough of it that it was so clear and blatant what they did from the angle that he was standing that finally, you've seen this outrage by not only rebel supporters or right wingers around the world, but globally, you've seen from everyone from Elon Musk to the Conservative Party of
Yeah.
Canada, who has made a point that in the past have behaved in similar ways. But, this is the government and the Conservative Party themselves now, broadly calling it out, as well as people not non-conservatives, which are looking at that and going, hold on, that seems like a bit like what they do in communist China. And to add, to add to it, the chutzpah of the Liberal Party, that's what they are in
Yeah. In
Canada. The
Canada.
Liberal Party in Canada is like our Labor. They answered the Conservative Party leadership who posted it in outrage, basically painting him somehow as as some sort of they compare him to Trump in the way he treats the media, like he's the bad guy, he's mistreating the media. Because it's insane to think that it's insane to think that they in 2024 that they think that they could get away with it and that they usually would get away with it, and
Yeah.
then on top of it, once they're getting called out by it, they still think that this trick of trying to paint the person who's called you out, the opposition leader who's called you out for it, for abusing a journalist, for asking a question, for abusing your power as law enforcement to stop somebody from asking you a question. Their only response, instead of standing up for freedom of the press, is to go, no, hold on, you're worse because you treat our bought and paid for. Remember, in Canada, they're all on government grants by the Trudeau government. The way you treat our bought and paid for media is by being rude, by calling them out for being fake news. Because often Pierre, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, Pierre Poilievre or whatever. Sorry, I've butchered it. I know that. But he's really good at handling the media in what they try to present it as. Look at Trump saying the same thing as Pierre, although I think Pierre does it with real class. You know, there's a famous video of him standing there being interviewed and he's just eating an apple and it's just brilliant. But finally, I think so much of the world is woken up, and you can see that video has gone everywhere. Even the bought and paid for media in Canada realize they don't like Rebel News. I'll tell you that little secret. It's a bit like here in Australia. They don't like Rebel News, but even they were forced to report this in what I would consider a fair way, because they realize that if you try to spin it any other way, like the Liberal Party there did, the public's going to turn on you. They can see exactly what's going on.
Yeah. Well, even the Royal Canadian Mounted Police have said that they're going to launch an investigation. Rebel News Canada have said that they are going to fight this. They are going to sue. But you know from bitter personal experience, Avi, when you were wrongfully arrested by Victoria Police and you fought them for how long to finally get an apology? The process really is the punishment, isn't it?
Yeah, look, usually I think it would be. I dare say, like, you can see already the backtracking of the police force there, which is a lot quicker than what we saw with regards to mine. Mine
Very
took
true.
a good 2.5 years to fight and win. But after I did eventually win, I'm never treated like that anymore. So I can promise you now that we've seen an admission of guilt already. But Rebel will take it all the way. And then I dare say that Dave Menzies is going to have that red carpet treatment that I seem to be enjoying since my success in Australia.
Well, we can only hope. I want to give a shout out to Rebel News. You guys did an outstanding job with the Fight the Fines here in Australia and elsewhere in the world. And I want to vocally support your fundraiser here to help David with exactly that court case. You're enjoying red carpet treatment only because you had the balls and the resources, thanks to Ezra Levant and Rebel News, but also thanks to the generosity and support of your many fans.
Absolutely.
That you were able to finally win that fight. We need to do the same thing for David Menzies here. So we'll put the link to this page as well as the link to that full video. I tell you, that video boils my blood. I struggle to watch it, but please, everybody, do watch it at least once all the way through. One, to admire how well David handles himself. So impressive, so calm under incredible duress, but also to watch the repeated dirty tactics that they tried on him. We've only scraped the surface. They tried to elicit confessions out of him. They tried to change their story right there in real time before he was even finished being arrested. They were already trying to shift the ground under his feet. Just disgusting tactics. We'll put all those links in. I was about to call you Ezra Levant. I don't know whether you should feel complimented or whether he should feel insulted.
Poor guy.
But Avi Yemini from Rebel News Australia, thank you so much for joining us for this story.
Thanks, mate.